everybody. Welcome to TFT Tarot for Today. Divine Dabblings with
O'Brien.
And me, Banshee. And Bly. We want to welcome you to your Weird Week. Another episode in our continuing saga of life.
Yes. The tragic dramedy.
So we decided to start every show with a recap of cards from last show and what we think they were pointing to in the last week. And last week, there were a number of things in the news, let's just say. There was the drone that the Russians kind of shot down, a U.S. drone. Not shot down, I shouldn't say that. Actually, intercepted, thank you. And the U.S. ended up having to sink it because it was nicked and damaged by a Russian plane and gasoline was poured on it. Okay, that was one thing. Putin was charged with war crimes. That's another thing. Another thing that happened was the former occupant of the White House, the former president, is worried about a potential upcoming indictment. And that seems to be getting more and more likely as the week had progressed. But nothing has happened there yet.
Right, and we don't necessarily think that what the cards were telling us were about any of those, though there may have been a possible hit with one of those ideas.
But there was another big story, and it was about the Silicon Valley Bank and the Republic Bank in New York and some of the financial pressures they are under and how panicking depositors started pulling out money and people started selling off their stocks and the bank tanked. And so we think the cards pointed to this whole situation, and we're now going to quickly show you how we felt it played out. Our first card, which was about the focus for last week, was the Judgment Reversed. And so we looked at this as harsh criticism and scrutiny was the focus for that week. People wanted to know why the Silicon Valley Bank, the Republican Bank in New York failed, and why so many other banks seem to be on the brink with similar issues. There's talk of investigating bank CEOs. There may have been some suspicious behavior, like selling stocks before the bank went under, like insider trading, insider knowledge. And also, they were, they obviously were trying to save their cash. And so also, they gave out bonuses to employees either on the day the bank tanked or the day before. So really crazy stuff. And we're pretty sure that this is what Judgment was about. The Eight of Wands upright, what we found out that swift action would be taken.
Right. We had said that whatever the first card was, some swift action would have to be taken.
Yes.
And clearly, I felt that maybe it lent more towards enterprise, which of course includes banking.
But we weren't sure quite yet.
Right. It wasn't quite like that.
Yeah. And so we mentioned during the video that some positive swift decisions, moves, or actions of some sort had to be taken in some matter. And that looks like it was the bailout the president announced for the Silicon Valley Bank depositors. Plus, some other banks that were in trouble in this country and overseas also got infusions of cash to manage their looming crises. This started to really have a boomerang effect in the banking industry, and stocks were markedly lower with bank interests. And so everything started to tailspin, and it had to be handled in a quick, decisive manner. Now, does this solve the problem? No. But, it was something that had to happen quickly.
So it fits pretty well.
It fit pretty well. And card 3, the Nine of Pentacles upright, was about other perspectives that needed to be considered. And we felt a couple of things with this card. We thought it could refer to people's money. This is where we started to really think there could be a financial angle to what all of this was about, though we still weren't sure what. We felt that it could refer to people's money or their sense of comfort and security. So now that we see what happened, we see that it related to people worried, were their bank deposits safe? The steps that the president took were to put everybody's minds at ease in that regard to avoid more panic withdrawals.
So, in hindsight, though, it does seem like maybe, considering the liminal nature of the Tarot of Opposition's card, the idea
Yes.
that you're looking at both sides, some people really were nearly losing it. Some people were being more pacified by it.
Well, and there are some losers in this because
True.
President Biden's money that went out went to save certain people who were investors, and that, he said they are not getting bailed out. The CEOs, etc., they are being investigated. So, there's going to be more fallout to come
Hmm.
as they investigate this. Now, card 4 may play into that, the overall impact. We have the Three of Wands in this position. And we thought that, looking at the cards just at base level, that there was a need to look ahead and make some strategic plans. We felt some strategic plans were going to be some long range strategic plans, I think we mentioned.
Hmm.
And now we see, it's going to be about how to stop this, how to stem this bleed that could keep going with other banks. How many more banks may be in trouble? How can we avoid this in the future? Will there be a hold now on interest rates and the hikes in the US so that it will ease some of the pressure that these troubled banks are feeling right now?
Well, there already are, several at least international kind of banking associations, and at times, different nations and governments and personalities have tried to work with those protocols. And I think we're just going to see this indicating, maybe not so much right now, but as we move forward, that tendency to get things coordinated. And maybe people start meeting about, how to really handle these things.
And we really thought about this, and it was about 20 to 21 minutes in the video where we
Yeah.
started to question, because literally that SV bank issue happened the day before we filmed this. We filmed it in the morning, Sunday morning last week, and that was before we had even heard any news of the bailout that made the news later that day.
Well, we did timestamp it, so I'm not so sure it was actually Sunday morning, but
Okay.
it is timestamped. It was at least Sunday afternoon.
Early afternoon, because it
All
was
right.
before our live show.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're right.
So we did it after my
Sorry about that.
Material Matters came out and in between.
So it's late morning, early afternoon.
Yeah. So finally, this last card really seals the deal. Card 5 was what could win the weird week? And we had the Nine of Swords reversed. And the Nine of Swords is all about allaying anxiety, dispelling fears, calming people down, calming yourself down. So what could win the weird week last week was something that would put people's minds at ease, eliminate their stress or anxiety over something that we had the impression was financial related. We think so far the president and maybe some of the financial institutions have accomplished their goal of minimizing the panic withdrawals by moving swiftly to try to shore up the troubled institutions. However, the stock markets worldwide have been on the downside, especially in the banking sector, coming up losers. So it remains to be seen how this will play out in the weeks and the months ahead.
Well, they say money changes everything. And really, when you look at that card, and you think about it upside, right, and then the other way around, it really talks about somebody else bearing the brunt of that, having to make the change of that association of negativity or despair. And so, of course, that could easily be our leaders, one in particular, or maybe, just a number of people who do have this. So, hopefully we are moving ahead from this. And
It was a real interesting reading because I thought it was kind of upbeat, but it's not. Clearly this whole situation is not. But the fact that action happened quickly, a response showed the enormity that this could have blossomed into, and sitting on it could have made the crisis even worse. So let's just see what happens as we go forward. And you know what? That was then. But this is now. Let's
Your
see
weird week.
what this week has in store for us. And
All
we
right.
start with the Twin Tarot Oracle with the question, what is going to be the major focus or theme for this weird week? And the Twin Tarot is two major arcana cards. One has an upright focus and one has a lower, a reversed card focus. So we'll see what the major theme is. Whoa. And you know what? That's got the white borders. So Mr. O, that one is upright.
It's the upright wheel of fortune.
It's the upright wheel of fortune. Hey, that's good news, I hope. This is going to prove, there might be some lucky moves, some lucky maneuvers, some synchronistic events that occur this week that will be very beneficial to some or all of us.
Well, it's like maybe saying the week starts off with some new cycles opening up, like maybe we're moving beyond a number of the situations, maybe even some of the situations that we thought about, but we know the cards didn't address last week. But now we see maybe something good happening, some good cycles, some sense of something informed by our willingness to pull all elements together and guide ourselves.
Don't we need some positive news, a positive turn of
Yes.
events? Let's hope so. Let's see what's in store. So what will we find out or see? The mysteries, the secrets tarot.
And for that, we use the Secrets Tarot.
Mr. O's Secrets Tarot. Appropriate for Mr. Scorpio. Wow, so I that was kind of unexpected, but it just could be something like that too. That something unexpected could be happening this week. I'm sure my winning $1 million in the lottery or my chance of that would not be showing up in our weird week, but it would be kind of weird, you have to admit.
So what will we see or find out?
Wow.
And it's the Eight of Cups, and it's upright. So I'll now move this here, and I'll move that over there.
The Eight of Cups upright.
Well, I think we see ourselves finding a better road to follow. I think we see that we have some choices to make, but we know these are the ways that will lead us towards something better. There is a sense maybe of knowing that somehow it transitions us away from something that we know we should leave behind and move towards something better.
It's very interesting. And yes, I can't argue with Mr. O on this. It's as if we are moving on from conditions that were not as, well, maybe that we have outgrown, and it's time to move on. It's time to move on and leave something behind, to aspire to something greater, to aspire to something higher, to aspire to something that would be more, growthful and fulfilling.
Well, at this point, it almost seems like this is a running from those two cards, but I don't want to pitch my bets on that totally. They could be differently related, but right now, the sense of looking at new cycles being our focus, new chances, new possibilities, and then saying what we see or need to see is that maybe there is a possibility to guide us. But are those connected or not?
Yeah, let's see. Of course,
what other perspectives need to be considered?
For that, we use our shared deck, the Tarot of Oppositions.
And we both shuffle this one because we co-own the deck.
Supposedly.
Buy your own.
I want to.
Yes, I know you do.
It's such an interesting deck. It really is.
Yeah, in its own way, it's quite interesting. It seems to complement the idea of the Twin Tarot itself in a way.
In a different way, yeah.
Right?
All right. I'm ready. Are you?
What other perspectives are there?
Well, I'm
We're
sure
gonna
there's
find out.
some. All right. Come on, I'm anxious. Ooh, it's reversed, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. So it's the moon. Oh.
And that's literally the definition, in a sense, of the position, finding out something. Well, actually, that's the previous one. So excuse
Well,
my faux there,
but that's what's coming out here. What other perspectives need to be considered is that there's some information that's coming to light. This is about a move. This is really not about well, I know it's about what we will find out. We will find out we have to move a certain way. But what other perspectives need to be considered is maybe we find out some information that will I'm trying to think of the
make us
word,
understand why we have to move.
why we have to move. I don't know. There might be some other hidden things that need to be that will be revealed.
And now it may seem more likely that there's a connection here, but
I
maybe
definitely see a connection.
it puts into doubt where that movement should go, and that really is saying that although we know we need to do this, we see we need to do this, it's still maybe doubtful what the perspective will be because new information is still coming to us.
Right. It's going to be revealed. And I wanted to say something about that. I forgot. I think it will come back in the recap maybe. So what is the overall impact? We're going to do the Healing Light Tarot on this. There's definitely a connection, and I already have an idea I'll throw out there or two about where I think this is coming from. There's so many things going on worldwide, too. Protests in France, protests in Israel. The war's still going on. Name it.
Yeah, I mean, this could even be talking about something going on with that.
It's the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands is reversed. Swords definitely look like swords, so that's definitely wands. I just wanted to be...
Well, the Ten of Wands reversed, the overall impact, depending on things, it looks like there is going to be a shift in burdens or a release of burdens. It may be that obligations going on between people's agreements, situations may be altered or lessened in certain respects.
Burdens or things that overwhelm, people. So it feels as though there's some easing of something that's been very burdensome or trying.
Is it the gist of what was coming with the idea that maybe what
Well, I
ends
think
up...
what's coming is going to ease the burdens,
Yeah.
and this aspiring to a higher calling or purpose, with more information being revealed. I don't know. I'm going to put it together at the end. I just want to see all the cards come out. And this is really going to be it, right? What could win the weird week?
So I'm using the Global Fusion Intuitive Tarot, remarkable new deck. Beautiful.
This is a puzzler, but I know one situation this could be relating to. And there could be others. And if you look at the cards we had from last week and you think of anything that those cards could have related to instead, we'd love to hear about it.
A big part of what we do is living and thriving on some of that feedback. We love it, and we like to hear what your opinions are and considerations, because we sort of feel we don't know everything, and sometimes we need to have that too. So what wins the weird week is the Five of Pentacles reversed.
There's healing.
Right, and it may be that certain people will change positions, feeling that maybe they do need to come in to a greater community or a greater source of brotherhood or fellowhood. Maybe there have been some outliers, so if this is international crises, this could be a number of things, but it could certainly be countries that or nations that maybe haven't always affiliated with a greater cause.
Wow, this is such a toughie. But not really, not this card. There's definitely healing. And I like what he brought up about community, that maybe more people will feel like, they don't want to be left out anymore. They want to rejoin, a bigger community of people. This is just.
Well, maybe it's time for our recap.
So that could win the weird week if it happens. Well, it's time for our recap, and it's time to think about these cards a little bit and where they're leading. But let's try to recap it as a cohesive whole. The major focus is on almost something that's guided by fate. Maybe something out of the blue happens that, will impact the rest of this, cause the rest of this to occur. Maybe, and it's positive. It's some positive maneuver, something that comes out of the blue, some lucky occurrence even. I'm not sure.
It's the UFO's landing.
All right. And then the second card is what we'll find out or see is that, I think what we'll find out or see is that we have to aspire to be better. We have to, in whatever the situation is, we've got to search for better solutions, a better way to do things, a better way to approach something, or to go for higher ideals or aspirations.
It's easiest for us to view the American culture and kind of dialogue that's going on. But I do think that, in general, in certain ways, people in general around the world are tired of extremism on either side, and they want to find something that maybe is a little bit more inspiring or something that presents the course.
Okay, card 4 or 3 is what other factors need to be considered. I feel that there are I think that this might be separate. I think this is separate from this, but it's part of the whole. I think there's going to be other revelations that really play into this, play into the fact that we need to be better, and all the rest of the cards. This is something that will come out and be revealed that will really change things, maybe change the course of things. And so what do you, I almost feel like
I didn't get to say anything, and I'm not going to add too much there, but it always has that feeling that, like, something that was maybe a secret that was not to be well known comes out. Maybe it's accidental, or maybe it is intentionally let to be known for some reason.
Okay.
I was talking about this one.
I know, and I was going to say something else and I forgot. Well, I know what I was going to say. I really almost feel, Mr. O, that this card is very pivotal this week. These other perspectives, whatever is about to be revealed. And then card 4, what is the overall impact? The 10 of Wands. I don't know, maybe people feel more of a peace of mind, a little bit less stress, a little bit burdened, a little bit less anxious about the load that they're carrying, whether it's mental, physical, or emotional.
Well, they may be also really assured that a path they are on is moving them towards where they want to go, as well as the removal of, the tension or anxiety that they're carrying. And of course, that sort of is a call back to the Eight of Cups.
Yeah. And finally, it looks like, what could win the weird week is the fact that, people want to be more, inclusive. They want to come together more. It almost seems like it's pulling more people together. There's some healing going on. Actually, whatever this is could be healing. So, what do you think it is?
Elon Musk has figured out how to get us to Mars if we want to go.
Okay. So I think that this could be the Donald Trump indictment being revealed this week. And then maybe some of the information that comes out about this will possibly change some hearts and minds so that more people will let go of what Mr. O said. They'll want to go for higher ideals, higher purposes.
Releasing the burden
Some
of
people
this
who have been
hold he
waiting
has.
for this to happen, that somebody higher up finally gets called into account for something they have done wrong, or they think they have, what the law thinks they may have done wrong. It's got to be proven in a court of law. An indictment is not guilt. Let me make that very clear. And so, but it's finally heading to that. And some people have really been waiting for that to happen.
Right.
And I think that could heal a lot of things right now.
Whether or not you already have decided or already have believed, what you feel is either guilt or not guilt, or media overkill or politics playing out, there is an idea here that really says things could maybe be revealed that would change people's minds, or would really at least give them an idea that they can move a little bit to another side, to a community where at least dialogue is possible. Right now, we don't have even that. We just have a lot of rhetoric and yelling back and forth. And we need to at least come to some sort of commonality where people can feel free to enter.
I'll throw out two other ideas that I've thought of other than going to Mars. I think that one of them could be, that maybe something happens that changes the course of the Ukraine war in some way. I don't think it's necessarily about the charges of Putin, although I won't rule that out either, because, now that he's being charged in world court, his travel is very, very limited now. He could be arrested in some countries for, these war crimes. So he has to face trial. And so the thing is, it could be something about that. The other thing that I wanted to add was France and Israel. I can't rule out that maybe some of this is about what's going on there, and that something will change, and that maybe all the people coming together will be able to set things right once more,
now,
for the good of all, not just for the good of some.
Going beyond politics, what if it was like something about an earth-shattering knowledge in a field of science, medical, something that kind of relieves burdens, is mysterious but revealed, changes a lot of status
or
quo.
even
other science,
even aliens, like you're alluding to. But before. But the thing is, I won't rule that out either. I won't rule out a revelation there that will really surprise and take us in a different path or direction. Whatever the case may be, this seems a bit transforming. And I do want to add about the Trump thing, because it appears we're taking sides here. Hey, we do have our political bend, but I will say this: that not everybody will necessarily feel this healing. There's still going to be there's still obvious conflict and things going on around this, but it's possible that whatever's revealed here, could change a lot. So I guess we're just going to have to see how this week unfolds again.
And then we'll be back again next week to tell you.
To tell you about it, to see if we've glommed onto something or not. I don't think we're always going to be right on with these cards, but it's awfully fun doing this for you and
Because that's
trying to
tarot,
figure
right?
out.
It's a snapshot of time. So
Absolutely.
certainly you can feel free to tell us, nya nya boo boo, we were wrong. But hey, let's have fun.
Let's have fun and let's think of the possibilities.
All right.
All right, everybody, take care. Hope to see you again next time for another Your Weird Week. Bye-bye.